Radhekrishna. Here we are at Shukasthal or Shukratal, which is on the way from Haridwar to Delhi. A very beautiful place, a place which is filled with devotion. Yes, this was the place where Shri Sukabrahma Maharishi said the Bhagavatam to King Parikshit. This was almost 5000 years back. Even before the Bhagavatam was narrated by Shukadeva to Parikshit, this tree has been in existence. So this dates back by 5000 years, and it was beneath this very tree the Bhagavatam narration took place. So this is a very important place for the devotees of Lord Krishna and the devotees of Srimad Bhagavatam. The story goes like this. When King Parikshit, after the Mahabharata war, once the Pandavas have gone or they ascended to the heavens, after that King Parikshit is ruling Hastinapura. At one point in time, he goes out for hunting, and while hunting he is separated from his retinue. He is tired and hungry, thirsty. He is not used to such a condition where he needs to ask or find water or food, because he has his soldiers who give him everything at the snap of the fingers. But here he is in a difficult condition. Let us know for a fact that King Parikshit was a very just ruler, was a fair ruler. He had the quality of goodness in him equally as the qualities of a king. Now, when he was separated from the rest of the retinue, he goes in search of some water to quench his thirst. He goes to a hut. There a sage is meditating. Now this sage is already a God realized soul, and he was experiencing the nectar of devotion within himself. Now when King Parikshit came into his hut, he did not have any sort of knowledge on what was happening around him, because he was internally experiencing the bliss. Now when Parikshit came, he humbly requested the sage for a glass of water. As the sage didn't know what was happening externally, he did not respond to the king. Parikshit, again, he was a mode of goodness personified, but at that moment ego overtook him. He became angry how the sage is not responding to a humble request for a glass of water. This angered him, and in order to avenge this insult, he found a dead snake lying nearby. He just picks up the snake and he puts it as a garland around the neck of the sage. So the sage, again, he did not know even what was happening. He was unaware that he was garlanded with a dead snake. Now Parikshit, left in a huff, he goes back to Hastinapura, and on reaching his place, he starts repenting his actions. Now the son of this sage, the sage is called Shamik, sage Shamik, and the son of this sage, he comes, he sees his father's condition. Though his father is unaware, he sees a dead snake as a garland. So he is angered. Ego overtook him. He wants to avenge this insult, so he goes to the river. He does his rituals and then takes a vow that whoever garlanded his father in such a way, he should meet his end in the next 7 days. Now the curse was very prominent. He comes back to his house, and now he starts repenting his curse. though he did not know whom he cursed, because again he did not know that who garlanded his father. Yet whoever it was, he did not care. He uttered the curse. Now he comes back, he starts repenting. That's when his father, he starts coming out of his meditative trance. When he sees his son in a despair state, he asks him what happened. So the son narrates everything right from the time he saw the dead snake being garlanded, and he talks about his curse. So Sage Shamik, he meditates and he comes to know about what transpired. He says sadly, "My son, you have cursed the noble king Parikshit. But anyway, if this is the will of the Lord, nobody can prevent it. So be it." Now Sage Shamik sends some people to inform the king about this curse and to make him aware of what's going to happen. So people go to Hastinapura, they explain this to the king. The king, instead of reacting in a negative way, he accepts this curse. He is at peace with himself, that because he was already repenting that all this had happened. He had done such a horrible act. So he feels that this is the right punishment for his deeds, and he says he immediately relinquishes his kingdom to his son Janmejaya, and he just walks off. Now from Hastinapura, that is today's Delhi, he starts walking and he comes to this place, which is Shukasthal. So he sits under this tree. If we shift our focus a bit from this story, let us pause this story for a while here. Now, sage Vedavyasa, he had written the Bhagavata Mahapurana in Vyasa Gufa, which is near Badrinath. Now, he passed on the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam to his son Shukabrahma Maharishi or Shukadeva. Not because he was his son, but Shukadeva was a truly realized soul. Now, Shukadeva, on hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, he was content, he was very happy with that, and he started reciting it. Rather, it is said he started drinking Bhagavatam daily by reciting it continuously. Now, the Lord felt, if Shukadeva is so happy with the Bhagavatam himself, it is the right time that he should be passing it down to someone else, and thus the greatness of Srimad Bhagavatam should spread around the world. So it's all a part of the Lord's divine Leela or pastimes, where he made or he created such a condition for Parikshit. He made him garland the sage. He made the sage's son curse Parikshit and all that. And on the other hand, he started creating this interest in Shukadeva to spread Srimad Bhagavatam to the world. So the moment people started hearing, it spread like a wildfire that the King Parikshit was going to meet his end in the next 7 days, and he had started walking towards this Shukratal. At the same time, again, the Lord, as he wished, he got Shukadeva to this place, and all the sages and the saints who were meditating in the various parts of Himalayas, they also descended to this place. So this place would have resembled like a Kumbh Mela, where it witnessed a full conglomeration of various sages and saints, including sage Vashishta, sage Vishwamitra, sage Vedavyasa, who himself was the author of Bhagavatam. Everyone came, they sat here, and Shukadeva, being a truly realized soul, he just walked in. He knew he had a task to do, that is to say or narrate Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit. So he comes here, he had only a fixed business of narrating Bhagavatam. So he did not pay any attention to the other audience. His only deal was with Parikshit. Parikshit comes, he bows down to him humbly and says that he has to meet his end in the next 7 days. For which Shukadeva says, in 7 days, if one hears the Bhagavatam, liberation is guaranteed. So, O Parikshit, you don't have to do anything else, just listen to what I say in this Srimad Bhagavatam. So, thus begin the 7 days discourse or narration on Srimad Bhagavatam, which is, these days it is called Bhagavata Saptaha, where various discourses happen. People read the Bhagavatam, people explain, they discuss about the various things, various events, incidents, episodes mentioned in the Bhagavatam. The main focus of Bhagavatam is the Canto 10, which talks about the life of Lord Shri Krishna, which is the most enjoyable part for many people. So, 7 days of narration by Shukadeva to Parikshit. This was happening along with a big audience, and at the end of 7 days, in between the narration, Parikshit was asking questions to Shukadeva, Shukadeva was answering to Parikshit. So it was just a dialogue between the sage and the king, in spite of so much audience and senior sages being present, but nobody interfered in this dialogue. So that is the greatness of Srimad Bhagavatam. Needless to say, on hearing this divine nectar, Parikshit got liberation at the end of the 7th day, and immediately after reciting Bhagavatam, Shukadeva did not inquire the welfare of other audiences, or he did not sit to gossip with them. He meant his business and he went his way. So hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam in the audience was one great sage, Suta Bhauranikar. So he experienced the nectar, the bliss on hearing Bhagavatam, and he also started walking off towards a place called Naimisharanya, which is in Uttar Pradesh, and there he spread this Bhagavatam by narrating it to many other sages. So this is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam, and all this happened under this very tree. This very tree is the witness to the Bhagavatam narration. So Shukadeva, he narrated, Parikshit, many sages heard, Parikshit got liberation, and many more experiences for various other sages and people who were present here. So this tree is so green even after, it stands the test of time. It is green, it has so many parrots. It's a very nice and a spiritual feeling to be here. And there is a temple here where we can see Lord Krishna, we can see Shukadeva Goswami, that is on the left, then Parikshit Maharaja on the right. To the left we have the sages Vishwamitra, Vasishtha and Vedavyasji, and to the right is Shamik Maharishi and Shringiji. So that is the sage on whom the dead snake was garlanded, and the sage son who cursed Parikshit. So this is a miniature of the situation or the event which happened beneath this tree about the Bhagavatam narration. So that's the glory of this place. This is a must visit place for all spiritual seekers, devotees of Lord Krishna. So let's pray beneath this tree to sage Shukadeva, to sage Vedavyasa, to Lord Krishna, to bless us with that devotion so that we can also enjoy this supreme bliss while we go on carrying our duties in this world. Radhe Krishna, Jai Bolo Shukasthal ki Jai, Jai Bolo Shukabrahma Maharishi ki Jai, Jai Bolo Vedavyas ji ki Jai, Jai Bolo Amar Vata Vrikshi ki Jai. Radhe Krishna.